this is Strike. We have unknown aircraft, inbound Mustang. Your vector 090 for bogey.
Who's up there? Great.
I've got him inbound. Bogey heading 270 at 10 miles. 900 knots closure.
I can't shoot this son of a bitch. Let's see if we can have a little fun with him. Greetings.
Hitler has only got one balls, the other is in the Albert Hall. His mother, the dirty bugger, cut it off when he was small. There it is, mother lovers. That's the huge selling point for me. That's like a blowjob from a granny with no teeth. To take the blade straight out of the router plane and stick it in a jig and get on with sharpening, that's the best thing since sliced bread. The Veritas strip of aluminium that you screw in the blade to, which isn't square, as you can see, makes a completely arse of a job of it, and you're supposed to be able to use that also with the plough plane blade version. So it's got to be done by hand like this, which is fiddling a pain in the arse. Anyway, before I went anywhere with this jig, I wanted to find out how flat the steel was that came with this router plane. Now this has a belly in it, so I'm not even going to waste my time trying to flatten that. It's very difficult. You might get lucky and you might get it flat. More often than not though, you're rocking and rolling a belly on the sharpening stone and you might get there, but more often than not it's just better to contact the tool manufacturer, say this has got a belly on it, can you send me a replacement? And normally they will do. If it's concave, fine, go mad. I should mention though the steel of this blade is HSS steel, not A2, not A01, not PMV 11. Off the bat I was struggling with my mitts around such small knobs. The angle of the dangle, to be honest, was also vertical. I kind of preferred them splayed out left and right. I wouldn't say I have hands like clubs, but in my hands it feels like a toy, small. Not that that's a bad thing. Adjusting the depth of cut too, I looked at it and I thought, God, this looks really budget, really looks really basic, pretty simple. I can dial that in. I could dial it in to take off such a nice thin cut as well, which I can't seem to manage with the Veritas. I know that I've just got to clock that, let's call it 5 minutes on a clock to camera left, and I'm going down about 0.5 mil. The ball bearing though, I don't really understand. I've left that out for the majority of this testing. I was also curious to find out what it's going to be, the difference will be like between the steels. I'm not sure what the steel is in the Veritas plane. It might be A1, who knows, it might be PMV 11. This is HSS steel. I wanted to see how long it would take before I felt the edge started to dull and it needed to be sharpened again. I did contact the chap who makes these planes and told him about the belly in the iron, and he said don't worry about it, I'll send you a new one. So I'll be waiting for 2 weeks for that. So I cracked on with one of the other 2 blades I was sent, this being the medium-sized blade, and there was only one little problem I could find with it. It cuts beautifully fine, absolutely fantastic, but when you get to about 13 mil deep, you hit the shoulders of that blade, and you can't go any deeper. And I should say that blade hadn't run out of oomph, you know, didn't need to be sharpened, hadn't gone dull, still could have done more work. Checking the shoulders all nice and square and plumb. Can't fault that. The only thing small enough and I trust is that mortise chisel. Both of these planes however left this marking, which is a bit annoying. This Veritas though, for me, feels like a hate. It's like a smash and grab. It's just not what I want from hand tools. If I was having to cut the rebate from start to finish by hand, I'd want this mother lover. But that's not me. I use hand tools to finesse what power tools can't do. Power tools are great, they get you close, but hand tools, they get you to the finishing line. I've never managed that with this. But then let's be honest, how many of us use these? For me, the previous router plane I feel is finer, in the sense I know I can get like a 0.2mm or less shaving from it, which is often all I need. To be fair, the Veritas, their blade has a quick release mechanism, just in case you're taking on heavy enemy fire. the cavalryman plane, though it's a little fiddly, and this is my first time properly finding out how it comes apart. But it's not the end of the world. The threads are similar to a Acme thread, so it moves fast, just in case your wood is of the impatient species. If your tools like to cut you too, use this gear. It's great. Keep washing your hands all day long, not like band-aids, plasters. For the most part, I mean I'm generally going to be cleaning out a rebate like this that's got some hills and valleys from an old slate and bevel blade. That's probably the majority of my work I'm going to use it for, to get it nice and flat. You can hear now people say, well, why don't you just use a flat tooth grind blade? When you're trying to dial in a rebate like that with a flat tooth ground, any blade, you try dialing that in to within 0.25 of a millimetre. It's too difficult, so you need to resort to a tool like this to get you right to that perfect millimetre depth of cut. I was surprised to see this, though, that the Veritas felt like it went dull earlier than the HSS blade. Maybe that's to do with the angle of attack of the blades, because they're definitely different angles, sharpening angles I mean. Either way, I couldn't care less. I'm much more impressed with the cheaper version. I should say also that the guy that makes these tools, albeit they are from China too, but they're not from Banggood or a big company like that that's boshing out lots of tools and stuff. This is a guy like you or me in a shed making his own tools and selling them out there. There are copies of his tools on Banggood. Bear that in mind. Regardless of the points it's lacking, I'm still rating this. It's a piece of piss to sharpen. That means I'm going to use it a lot more often. The cavalryman plane has an optional extra rear fence. I should mention the other blades are also extras too. If you're interested, I'll leave a link below. It's not an affiliate link. Then there's this other feature, but I don't really get it. For me, all router planes don't have enough purchase at the start of the cut to get the plane balanced correctly. Wouldn't you just turn around the plane and use it on a pull stroke, then take it apart? Let me know what you think down in the comments below, please. A quick real world usage. I've been putting this job up forever because I just don't like that Veritas blade. It's a bull in the china shop. Even with this one, which I feel takes a much finer, nicer cut, it also can take a millimetre off. It's quite good. That's nice and snug now though. This is living in my toolbox to hand. The other one I think is going to end up on eBay. I can't see any need for it anymore.